Artificial intelligence weekly updates, August 15th, Friday. A lot of updates this week. As you see, I selected small font for the list. And the epigraph for today is we use Google search for humans and we use MCP servers for apps and AI. And there will be several slides about MCP this week. First, crowdsourced LM Arena leaderboard. Well, about the same as it was last time. So on the left we have for chat and on the right we have for coding. Both of them, the first place is GPT-5. And then, well, it depends. For text we have Gemini and OpenAI and Claude. And for code we have Claude first, then Qwen 3, then Claude again. I love Claude, as you know. Next, GPT-5. Well, there was a lot of commotion, feedback, positive, negative. Some people found well, first of all, what they did, they just removed all the previous models, O3, GPT 4.1, O whatever, and just GPT-5 and nothing else. So you see this image on the bottom. And there was a lot of negative feedback because of that. I frankly don't know why they did it, because it takes time to make prompts, to make them work reliably with a particular model. And when you change the model, everything just breaks. But anyway, they reinstated the model. Like, for example, if right now I go into my GPT, like 4.0 is default again, but there is also GPT-5. Okay, they added GPT-5 to Copilot. Microsoft Copilot before had all kinds of OpenAI models, and now they also have 5. And yeah, so the feedback is positive because it's very capable model, but also negative because they claim it's cheaper, but in order to actually perform, it needs to consume more tokens for reasoning, and it actually becomes slower and not cheap. So we need to give it a little bit more time to see. Like, many people switched from Claude to GPT-5 and then returned back to Claude. They feel like safer and more stable with Claude. Anyway, next is hierarchical reasoning model. So this is on GitHub, the paper, YouTube video. So what it is, it's a very small model which internally behaves like a multi-agent system. It consists of 2 pieces. One is for planning and another is for execution. And what happens, this model, because of this separation, achieves very high results on benchmarks. So for example, on ARC AGI benchmark, it's more than 40%, which is better than 34.5 of OpenAI O3 Mini High. High means reasoning, high reasoning, and 21.2 of Claude. But these are big models, and this is tiny, tiny, small model, open source. So, well, this, I guess, shows us the light for the future improvements. In general, the separation of planning, orchestration in one entity and specialist execution in another, let's say, agent or entity or part, is a very effective way, right? So people do it in reinforcement learning, actor-critic architecture. In military, you have soldiers and generals. In business, workers and managers. So in any complex organization, from corporations to governments and militaries, the most effective outcomes arise when strategy and execution are clearly separated, yet strongly aligned through communication, feedback, and shared metrics. Okay, so this is very important work. And again, it's just amazing. Tiny, tiny, small model and such like achievements. Anyway, terminal AI assistants are very popular. All major vendors create their own CLI, command line interfaces. So we have Gemini CLI, which is open source. We have Claude Code, which I use it too, I love it. Warp, which takes first place on the leaderboard. Cursor came up with their own CLI, and there are many others. Oh, Grok released also their own CLI. So you'll see a list, and this list can be extended, of course. Okay, this is shameless plug for my channel. So it is at Lev Selector. Just search for my name, Lev Selector. And I usually post a question under the video on YouTube. So if you'll be watching it later, please answer this question in comments. Next, I want to talk about MCP, Model Context Protocol. So it was introduced in November 24 last year, so it was less than 1 year. And they released it with initial software development kit, SDK. Then in February this year, it was official SDK release. In May, there were a lot of updates and changes, and everybody accepted it. All models, all vendors accepted it. It became default standard for communicating between models or between models and information systems. So the diagram is very simple. You have LLM, which use MCP protocol or MCP client to talk to some sort of a server, which can talk to data in many different formats. And people have created thousands and thousands of MCP servers. There are public servers, there are private servers, and it's very easy to create a server and a client because Anthropic provided a standard software development kit for that. So it's easy as import something and then boom, create client or create server. Next, MCP versus Google search. So humans, when you go on the internet and you Google for something, right, and Google returns something which is readable for a human. MCP is similar, but it returns something which is readable by LLM. Not necessarily AI application, it may be a regular application, because what MCP server return is JSON formatted in a certain way, and the way you send the request is also JSON. So JSON in, JSON out, standard protocol, standard formatting, MCP for AI development. So here is official MCP server on GitHub, now in public preview, transforms how you manage repositories, analyze code. So this is how you work with GitHub. Git MCP, code hallucination killer. Okay, Playwright MCP by Microsoft, browser automation, memory MCP server, AI that remembers, file system MCP, fetch MCP server. This is just few examples of good MCP servers. How to use MCP from Claude.ai chat. If you are using Claude, hold on, I should have it in my Claude because like if I go to tools, yeah, here I have context 7. You see, because I really like it. Context 7 is MCP server. Let me context7.com. So this is MCP server, which gives you access to a lot of libraries, 33,000, almost 34,000 libraries documented and available via MCP from your chat. So in your chat, all you do, you say use context 7, and then you ask your question. So you can say, using context 7, please answer this question. And it will use the latest documentation for software libraries which you're using. It's amazingly useful. So this is, you can do it in the browser. You can do it from VSCode, depending on the tool you're using. So for example, I like Client, and you can configure your client to use MCP server. Then MCP from PyCharm and terminal, same thing, you can do it. I really like Claude code. So you install it using this npm command on Mac, for example, and then you have Claude command. And so let me demonstrate you, because I have it installed, right? So here is my terminal. and I just say, Claude, what is the capital of France? And here it's doing something, and it told me it's Paris, right? So it's quite easy, but you can ask questions about your code, and for example, you can say, describe this file, or describe the whole project, or create documentation in MD format, or create certain instructions, or propose like what to do with this code, and so on. Very, very easy to use, and you can use it from terminal. That means you can use it in VS Code, you can use it in PyCharm. It is always with you. Okay, MCP Server for your documentation. So there is a GitHub repository which is called docs MCP Server. And under the hood, what this thing does, it implements a RAG, retrieval augmented generation, using custom semantic splitter, generating embeddings, storing it into SQLite database with SQLite vector extension, but it also uses full text search using SQLite full text search extension. So it has both of them, and you can give it a directory, let's say, with your documentation, with your text, markdown, HTML, text, websites, GitHub, and it will index everything, and then it exposes it as MCP server, so you can use it, you can ask questions, you can add this functionality to your application as a chat so that users can ask questions about your application. It's amazingly easy to do. Like, and it's open source. Just take this text and use it. Oh, this is interesting video at the bottom. Creating MCP server to invoke GPT-5 from Claude code. So you're using Claude, and then for particular question, you want Claude to ask GPT to answer this question. How you do it? You set it up as MCP server. You set up a small, very small MCP server, and all it does, it passes the question to GPT-5 and then returns the answer back to Claude, and Claude shows it to you. So like people use MCP now for everything. Yeah, context 7 stores does the same thing as this. The only thing is that in their documentation they don't say which vector database they're using. Yeah, so it's a different GitHub, but basically the same code. So I highly recommend this. And by the way, let's look how popular it is. If I go to GitHub, 400, is it the right one? Yes, 467 stars at this point. Okay, next, MCP client for your app. So it's very easy to do because MCP, there is a standard software development kit coming from Anthropic, and this is how you do it. That's all you need to do. From MCP, import MCP client, and boom, boom, boom. Nexus, the open source AI router. So again, this is GitHub for this. The idea is that you can have one server which routes requests to different large language models or to different MCP servers, which kind of centralizes and simplifies the architecture of your system. You see, Nexus routes tasks to the most suitable LLM based on type of the task, cost, latency, required context length, model, and so on. Something to look at. Next, examples of MCP messages. As I told, MCP messages are JSON messages following certain format, and this is example of simple request and simple response. I really love this article. It's called MCP Survival Guide. It's mostly about MCP security, because originally when Anthropic released the SDK, there were some holes, some vulnerabilities. They were patched, and yeah, this is very good. Another thing, when people create applications nowadays, Firebase, Google Firebase is often used for authentication, for security. And it is very common to use MCP servers with Firebase. You see, major MCP server implementations use Firebase authentication as their primary authentication mechanism for web UIs. So yeah, there are a lot of examples how to do it. They work together. Okay, Claude Code. I absolutely love it. I mean, you can use some other terminal as well. Here is a Claude Code quick start official documentation. I really love this Claude Code cheat sheet. It consists of like 10 lessons or 10 parts, and you can go through it and become pretty good with Claude Code. Claude Code supports Opus Plan, Sonnet, Execute, because planning requires more thinking and it is more expensive, Opus, and Sonnet is cheaper and it's pretty good at executing, right? So Claude Code supports naturally this separation of like manager worker. Okay, this is how to customize Claude. You can create dot files, dot directories, and put the rules how you want to Claude to work with you. You can define sub-agents. There is something called Claude Code hooks, how to configure MCP server, and so on. Anyway, next, few words about RAG, traditional versus agentic RAG. Well, RAG exists for years, right? And people using traditional RAG, which is not very good. And in real life, you have to, well, do some work. So this is, see, nowadays people moved from naive simple RAG systems to multi-step or advanced RAG systems. Self-reflection and grading system reviews its own generated answers, checking for mistakes, gaps in reasoning. Cross-encoders, after using simple vector similarity search, which is also called B-encoder, system uses transformer model or LLM to check the question against the found texts, pieces of text, and re-rank the findings accordingly. This is a slow and expensive process, but it improves the quality of the response. Also, what people do with agentic RAG is when you have LLM to actually process the text, sometimes you can just remove the vector database. It will be maybe slower, but the quality will be better. Depends on how much data you have. This graph shows this distribution of models by hallucination levels. And so the top is models which have less hallucination, which is here. Which is GLM 4.5. It's actually GPT-5, but it's why I didn't put it here. It should be GPT-5. Oh, because it was in preview. Okay, never mind. But we have GLM 4.5, which is from China, Qwen 3.5 from China, Gemini 2.5 Pro, and GPT-5 and Claude Sonnet 4. Okay. And this is the whole list. Like these two boxes just represent those models. Okay, David Sachs, best case scenario for AI. So he tweeted, and so leading AI models would use its intelligence to self-improve, leaving others in the dust and quickly achieving a godlike superintelligence. So people were afraid that this will happen, that the company will, one of the big companies, like let's say OpenAI, creates superintelligence, and this superintelligence starts improving itself and quickly becomes like a godlike system and gets ahead of everybody else. But it doesn't happen. The leading models are clustering around similar performance benchmarks. Model companies continue to leapfrog each other with their latest versions, which shouldn't be possible if one achieves rapid takeoff, right? Models are developing across competitive advantage, becoming increasingly specialized in personality, modes, coding, math, as opposed to one model becoming all-knowing. Okay, So I guess you shouldn't be afraid of one model taking over the world. So we should expect a balance of power between various human AI fusions rather than a single dominant AGI. And the most likely dystopian outcome with AI is a marriage of corporate and state power. Yes, and there is likely to be a major role for open source. Yes. There is also increasing clear division of labor between humans and AI. AI models are still at zero in terms of setting their own objective function. They need context, they need to be heavily prompted, the output must be verified, and this process must be repeated iteratively to achieve meaningful business value. AI is not end-to-end, but middle-to-middle. Model capabilities are more decentralized than many predicted. Okay, I think this is a very good post, and there is a lot of following discussions on Twitter about it. Okay, NVIDIA AIQ blueprint architecture. Enterprise-grade answers in secure, high-speed pipeline, multimodal data ingestion and embedding, which is called NEMA Retriever. Then they have their own vector database, QVS, and then they have Nematron, which is a large language model based originally on model from Meta, and it does agentic reasoning. So this kind of RAG, right? So we have retriever, vector, which processes data, vector database, and then agentic nematron at the output. Next, self-questioning language model. This is very good paper. Can AI improve its reasoning abilities by generating and answering its own question? And the answer is yes. So you can do it. You can ask questions, give the answers, and then reward for asking good questions and reward for giving good answers. This is a very similar idea to, again, which is generative adversarial networks. And yes, the result is amazingly good. Using this method, a base language model was able to significantly improve its performance without any new human labeled data. So it's kind of adversarial model is training itself by setting up two identities, one which is asking the question and another is answering the questions, and both of them are learning from this experience. America is running the wrong race. Winning in AI isn't about being the first to build the smartest machine. It's about being the first to scale it wisely across every school, clinic, factory, and business. It's about turning intelligence into abundance for everyone, not just shareholders. So this is coming from Alvin Wang Graylin. There's a very good interview by Peter Diamandis. Here is the YouTube link for this interview. Next, XAI Grok 4 is now freely available worldwide. The heavy version of Grok is only available to Super Grok heavy subscribers. Merge Labs, Sam Altman startup, which mimics the Elon Musk's Neuralink. They're now seeking funding, and they already evaluated on close to $1 billion. So they will be making interfaces between human brain and computer. Same thing which Elon Musk's Neuralink is doing. NVIDIA Innovations. So there was a big event in Canada, in Vancouver, and they presented rendering, 3D generation, simulation, reasoning models for physical AI. So this whole idea that in virtual environment you can train robots. You see physics-aware reasoning. Also Cosmos AI models for robotics. Again, Cosmos Reason model, Cosmos Transference, and so on. Next, Cohere, big events. So this is a Canadian company, and they raised $500 million at 6.8 billion valuation. So this is a big growth for this company. They are known for creating Command A and other models for business. And Joelle Pineau, this is her photograph. She left Meta, where she was leading Meta Fair, which is Facebook AI research, and joined as the chief AI officer. So she joined Cohere, and probably will see a lot of progress from Cohere. It's a very good company. Now, another interesting thing, Igor Babuschkin has left XAI. If you may remember, when XAI was formed, so this is Elon Musk's company which makes AI models, he was invited to lead the project, to be the main AI researcher, and Grok is his creation. And yeah, he left now, and he is creating the Babuschkin Ventures fund. You see, he says we'll support AI safety research and back startups that advance humanity and unlock it mysterious the universe. Yeah, very interesting. But by the way, the last name Babuschkin means like grandfather, so it will be Grandfather Ventures, kind of. Anyway, in another trend, tiny models for fine-tuning, instruction following, ultra-low power, and embedding, so for edge devices. So these are two examples. Spanish AI startup Multiverse came up with two models, and the smaller one is only 94 million parameters. And similar Google Gemma came up with a small model, 270 million parameters. So it's less than a billion. Well, Gemma has many different sizes of the Gemma 3 model. The largest is 27 billion, so this is 100 times smaller. But despite the fact that these are small models, they are trained specifically to be good at following instructions, to work with JSON. And because they're so small, it's very easy to fine-tune them on your data. So this is like very obedient order-following soldiers, and you can teach them very easily to use a particular, I don't know, machine gun, so to speak, to use particular tools. So you can fine-tune, train these models to execute different functions. So it looks like this is a new trend, to create these small models and then use them on edge devices or for different functions. Oh, another thing, there's a project called Void. It's Void Editor. It is on GitHub, and it's open source alternative to Cursor editor, so AI-enabled editor. Next, LangDiff, progressive UI from LLMs. So it's open source Python library to stream structured LLM outputs to front ends. So this is on GitHub, open source. The idea is that when LLM gives you output, it goes in chunks, and you need to recognize when the chunk starts, when the chunks closes, and then pass these chunks as they appear, like in a streaming function fashion, to your front end. Very useful project. Next, Deep Agent from Abacus AI. Abacus AI is a very well-known startup, and the Deep Agent is like state-of-art, definitely, and they're improving it. So here's an example: creating entire CRM or marketing pipeline with just one prompt. Generating, editing high-resolution charts, PDFs, reports, instantly syncing platforms like Jira and Slack, and so on. This is absolutely amazing. I didn't put the link here, but I spoke about Deep Agent from Abacus AI several times. I recommend you just to search and see on YouTube very convincing, magical presentations about this system. And by the way, you need to pay for it if you'll start using it, but it is quite affordable. Google LangExtract. This is another GitHub project, open source Python library for converting large volumes of unstructured text into consistent structured data. So you can see how useful. And you see this image, so you have some pieces in your input in the text, and you extract these pieces and you provide like structured JSON, let's say, on the output. Use the literal analysis, clinical notes, financial reports, and so on. Define prompt and few short examples to enforce desired schema. Long document optimization, chunking, parallel processing. interactive HTML visualization. Well, just think about it. Well, let's say you have some sort of, I don't know, financial document, some annual report, and you want to extract certain information from it. Boom, Google LangExtract can easily do this. SciSpace Agent, AI co-scientist, combines 150 academic tools and 59 databases in one platform. Wow. With a single prompt, it reads literature, analyzes data, cutting 90% of research time. So it's in scispace.com. I think you have to pay for it, but it's good. Geoffrey Hinton. Geoffrey Hinton argues we should engineer maternal instincts into the AI systems so they generally care about human well-being even as they become more powerful. While he admits that technically achieving this is unclear, he insists it's the only viable path to prevent AI from replacing us. Well, Geoffrey Hinton, father of AI. Next, AI updates. Okay, Claude Sonnet 4 now has 1 million token context window, and there are different pricing. So if your input is less than 200K, it is $3 in, 15 out, and if it is more, then it's $6, so it's twice more, and $22 out per million tokens. Skywalk Matrix Game 2.0, open source, real-time interactive world model, similar to Google Genie 3, which we spoke about last week. So these are examples of screens. So you can use keyboard and mouse prompts to generate long, high fidelity and physically realistic video sequences for gaming at 25 frames per second, so very good. Users can explore, manipulate, construct virtual environments. Applications for this is in game engines, embodied AI, virtual humans. The model is only 1.3 billion parameters and runs in real time on just one GPU. So yeah, it can be easily used by regular people. Okay, this story is absolutely amazing. Leopold Aschenbrenner. So the guy is very young, he's like 23 years old, and he left OpenAI and he created a hedge fund, and he raised 1.5 billion for this hedge fund. It's called Brain Trust on AI, and this fund is 47% up after fees in the first half of this year. Just imagine the amount of money. He is investing in AI relevant stocks and shorting industries which likely to fall behind because of AI. So yeah, this is amazing. So this is his picture. Mistral AI released Medium 3.1. This is upgrade. So 128 context window. Nobody knows how many parameters, but estimated between 40 billion and 70 billion parameters. It's available via API. It is, and this new updated version is better at creative writing, smarter searches, better reasoning. What else? Oh, Perplexity. Oh no, Gemini personal context. So now Gemini can remember all your chats, not just one chat you're in, but all of them. Unless you explicitly say that you want to use temporary chat, so it will not remember it. Perplexity video generation tool on smartphones for Pro and Max subscribers. Low monthly quotas, just few videos per month, but you can do it on your phone, you can generate videos. OpenAI achieved gold level at International Olympiad. So there were 330 humans, and OpenAI was better than 325 of them. So only 5 humans were better than OpenAI. Microsoft Agentic UI. The idea is that they are not going for autonomous AI. They are going for collaboration between human and AI. And what they see is improved task accuracy by 71% compared to autonomous systems. So nowadays, the best performer is combination of human and AI. Next, a human loop. So Anthropic basically bought this startup, which is called Human Loop, which is a short for Human in the Loop. So this is the website, humanloop.com, and is a collaborative enterprise platform for building, testing, and rigorously evaluating LLM applications, including RAG and so on. And the idea is that at every step of the process, human can provide feedback, and the system will incorporate this feedback in itself. So it provides integrated environment for managing prompts, embeddings, retrieval tools, language models. You can create, test, and automatically evaluate RAG pipelines with a set of queries and measure quality using human-coded or AI-based evaluators, and so on. Human in the loop. Key judgments and iterative refinements can involve humans at any step to correct, score, or direct the system. So again, collaboration between human and AI. AI adoption progress. So this is coming from a team like New Line. It's a newsletter, and I really liked it. So what they say is that there are 3 steps. First step is skepticism. This is just a fad. It's not real engineering. We don't need where I work. Then slow adoption, which is 3-4 years, and that's where we are. A few forward-thinking engineers start learning and applying it. Companies begin testing it. The first high-paying jobs emerge. And step 3 is mass adoption, which is year 5 plus. Companies require it. Engineers who learned early are at high demand. Everyone else is playing catch up. So this happened with cloud computing. This happened with DevOps and automation. And now the authors say that we are somewhere between step 1 and step 2. So I guess we're starting step 2. So we're in good shape. Next, AI is disrupting the big 4. So here in America, we have 4 companies, Deloitte, PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, and KPMG. I never knew the names, but these are big companies which do accounting, taxing, assurance, and so on, like logistic work. And the usual system how they work with big companies, they bring a lot of people, consultants, like working ants, which take all your receipts, all your accounting, all your bills, like everything, and then process it, and do all the work. But nowadays, all this work can be handled by AI or can be handled by automation. So the shape of the payments, it used to be a pyramid, but now it's more like this diamond. You have very few people on the input, then you have some people like engineers which are qualified on the top, and then on the top you have like managers and so on. So the core functions are now being automated, outsourced, and because they're outsourced, you don't need as many people. So what happens, smaller companies now can bid on the same jobs, and there is more competition, and that means prices are going down. So prices for services went down 50%. Hour-based pricing is shifting to outcome-based pricing. Each firm has built proprietary AI platforms and invest into AI heavily. They literally spent billions of dollars. They are not going anywhere. These are very, very big companies, and they have very big clients. But they're restructuring how they work, who they hire, right? Industry experts predict 50% of roles in these areas could be eliminated within 3-5 years, with AI solutions already capable of handling 90% of audit processes, for example, financial audits. So these are examples of what they're doing, the restructuring. Okay, next, yeah, Hanson, thank you for this. This is a comparison of René Descartes and AI. So René Descartes is a famous mathematician and philosopher from 17th century. He created a method of breaking big problems into smaller manageable pieces, which is exactly how AI systems work today. He is famous for saying cogito ergo sum, which is I think, therefore I am. So he also believed that humans have minds which think separate from bodies which are physical. He believed the real thinking requires consciousness and self-awareness. So yes, he was very famous. Like for example, the Cartesian coordinates system is named after him, Descartes coordinate system, right? He was French, credited as the father of analytic geometry, very famous. But as far as applying him to AI, well, yeah, I don't know. AI definitely doesn't have body, and I don't think it actually thinks. It's more like a parrot, at least today's AI. So I think therefore I am. Anyway, jobs. So these are updated information about layoffs. August, not many layoffs. There were a lot in July. So these are updated data as August 14th. You see 25 so far. Number of people laid off is much less than it was in previous years, but we will see by the end of the year what will happen. This is me as usual, and thank you.